Yeah, the last time we met was 4/18. That was 7 weeks ago and 2 days ago.
Like yesterday.
It seems like yesterday. Looks like you got a haircut.
I did, yes. I also took some extra hour of sleep because people said that I looked tired and worried on
I was just
the
going to
previous
say, you
video.
still look... So tell me how comfortable this couch is in the afternoon.
It's perfect, actually.
So I understand the business license has been obtained.
Yes. Accounts, work permits, tax ID, business license, even new WMI.
WMI, for people that don't know,
It's a World Manufacturing Index. Transportation in manufacturing has to obtain WMI, World Manufacturing Index, and this is first three symbols of
our VIN.
Of our VIN. So we're changing it after 20 years.
With the new space, what's the current status? I understand the packaging area was cleared.
Everything is cleared, everything is fenced, everything is prepared to accept equipment we need for assembly, and but the phase one is storage area, which we will start putting up next week. So we need to build storage areas so we can accept shipments of parts from our suppliers and from the factory. As of this morning, it's just empty, cleaned space of the total area of, I believe it's 1,800 square meters or 18,000 square feet. There are a little bit of construction needs to be done. We need to build a separate entrance to this building so we can work there without bothering everybody else. As I said, it's 99% ready to start accepting stuff.
And the suppliers are still being patient.
Yes, yeah, and this is whole separate part of the process because we need to re-sign the contracts because it's going to be new entity which is going to be dealing with the suppliers. So
oh, I didn't even think about that.
yeah, but paperwork, a lot of work by just paperwork. Majority of the suppliers, working with them for many years, we kept them informed on what's going on and what the plan is, and they were patiently waiting for us to set up everything from legal standpoint, and they're all ready to resume shipments.
I don't want to catch you off guard. I don't want to talk about anything that's touchy, but I understand that when this all started, there was a few vendors that ceased doing business with us.
Mm-hmm.
Are we set up to get a replacement for those parts?
We can name the names. Why not?
Okay.
There were just one. There is just one supplier, which is Yasa batteries.
Okay.
They are a distributor in Poland where we've been buying batteries. But the biggest problem with suppliers is not suppliers who are located outside of Russia. We have troubles with suppliers of imported components with distributors in Russia where we've been buying components and parts for motorcycles. For instance, we've been working with a Russian distributor of SKF bearings, and they stopped doing business in Russia for time being. It's going to be FAG. We were trying to work with, to see if we can work with Japanese suppliers because it's less expensive than FAG, with same, maybe even higher quality.
Yeah.
Another example is Denso. They just started distribution in Russia last summer. They had to stop, so we're going back to normal business, how we've been doing it for 20 years, so buying Densos here in the United States.
Packing and shipping.
Packing and shipping to Kazakhstan. This is more difficult than to sign new contract with supplier in Taiwan. You and our viewers, they should understand that a lot of foreign companies quit Russian market. This is just yet another condition of for us to do business. We need to reestablish the relationship and find the distributors, maybe sometime in Kazakhstan, maybe sometime in Europe, and rearrange our logistics and just continue working.
Internally, you sent a little cell phone video. Something I hadn't even considered when all this started was the in the new location, the lack of wood for crates.
Yeah.
So we've had to redesign the crates.
You
sent that video of them testing it.
Just one example of millions of little things or big things. We need to completely reimagine and do it differently. Everybody knows that we've been shipping bikes in wooden crates, and we had to develop a metal crate. So we can,
because we can't get a hold of trees.
We can, but it's like 3 times more expensive than in Russia, where we have like wood just outside of our property in Irvit. And then some extra stuff, like how do we move painted parts from Irvit to Petropavlovsk to Kazakhstan without damage? So we had to develop packaging to move parts internally from one location to another. It's another big undertaking. At the factory in Irvit, we had to organize separate packaging area because there are going to be a lot of parts going between Irvit and Kazakhstan, especially in the beginning. So these painted parts are going to be packaged in crate in Irvit, moved to Kazakhstan, unloaded, put on shelf, and then motorcycle assembly put in another crate. It's not that complicated if you just look at the factory in Irvit as a supplier to factory in Kazakhstan. Then it kind of
it's just so many years of doing something one way and then changing that whole way of doing things
quickly as we go, pretty much. It's gonna be some learning period. It will take some time to learn how to do things efficiently. Of course, we're not going to do it efficiently. We're going to be very inefficient in the beginning. We all know this. I'm 100% sure that truck's going to run between Irvit and Kazakhstan every day because we'll be forgetting something or sending some wrong parts. It's just a reality. But it will be a learning period, and we are trying to think ahead, and even with orders we're placing with the factory for bikes, we're trying to make it a little bit simpler, reducing variety of colors, for instance, and not ordering that many custom options, this kind of things. So make bikes kind of
a little more standard.
A little bit more standard,
though.
at least at first, yes.
This actually brings up something else I heard you talking about the other day, things like black engines.
Mm-hmm. So we've been getting castings from our supplier in Asia. So if somebody orders black engine, the parts would be masked and then painted at the factory. Of course, with a new location in Kazakhstan, it's gonna be a nightmare to bring parts from China to factory in Kazakhstan, move it to Irvit, paint it, machine it, then move it back to Kazakhstan, and then assemble with other parts. And this is extremely inefficient, and this is why we decided that we'll take a pause, maybe 3-4 months, and we're working with our supplier, so he can supply us with first fully machined cylinder heads. So we're going to send him seats and guides. He is going to install them and machine, and then all parts will be painted at our supplier and shipped ready to be assembled to Kazakhstan.
So the first bikes coming out of the factory after production resumes, they're going to be more standard colors and natural aluminum drivetrain for right now.
The very first shipments, they will have black engine because we still have parts at the factory.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about August production. But starting September, they're going to be a break, 3-4 months, maybe.
Last time we talked, you had hoped parts shipments to resume the end of April, but you said most likely it was moving to the left a little bit. Now we're in the first part of June.
Where's the parts?
No. From what I understand, looks like we got one on the way.
So the first trial shipment of parts, it's currently in Kazakhstan. So we were able to move it from factory to Kazakhstan,
Okay.
and it's about to be shipped here. It's a small shipment, mostly warranty parts for EMW and some parts of Australia. The last step was to ship it from Kazakhstan. So we're learning how all this mechanics works in Kazakhstan. One just should understand the distances. So normally working, for instance, normally working DHL office and international airports, the nearest one is in the Kazakhstan capital, Nur-Sultan, city of Nur-Sultan, or Astana,
Okay.
which is 600 kilometers south of Petropavlovsk. It's a little further than used to be from Irbi to Yekaterinburg.
Okay.
And these distances are normal for Kazakhstan. It's actually considered to be a short distance.
So
600 kilometers is almost 400 miles. So it's like, oh, it's close.
there was no real slowdown of or hesitancy to continue buying service parts or anything like that. It seems like
No,
it's
parts department doing a great job in working with all other suppliers outside, beside the factory, and that we're going to start receiving more parts from factory suppliers directly to here, which is happening, as we know.
Right.
The flow of parts orders is noticeably strong, and I think it's stronger than last year. And as far as I know, we're doing pretty good with parts.
You said that the factory was essentially going to be a part supplier to Kazakhstan.
Mm-hmm.
So is there going to be any changes related to that?
Yes. In parallel with setting up the operation in Kazakhstan, we have to think how to make factory working more efficient. One of the things is that we have to speed up some outsourcing projects. In the past, we were trying to eliminate all kind of machining for parts for powertrain, but we're still making some parts as a factory in Russia, some key parts, such as crankcase, crankshaft, motorcycle, drive shaft, cycle drive shaft, flywheel. So some of these parts, particularly crankcase and sidecar drive shaft, those projects has completed. So very soon, in maybe a couple months, we'll start using those parts. In view of our transfer to Kazakhstan, we accelerated other projects. Actually, today we opened the project for crankshaft, and the next going to be motorcycle drive shaft, and then flywheel. It's not like it's going to happen tomorrow. Usually, projects like this, they take from 9 months to 15 months approximately. But I mean, it's already somewhere in horizon. This very, very big project which we've been working on for almost 10 years. probably by the end of next year, we will be done with machining at the factory in Irbit.
When do you anticipate bikes to start being produced and shipping out of Kazakhstan?
Factory got the order for August production.
Okay.
And they started putting together parts for very first container. It's gonna be a trial container, trial in terms of how everything packaged, moved, and assembled again in Kazakhstan. Very end of July is probably when first container will be shipped from your location. This is the plan.
Well, are these bikes going to be 22s or 23s?
It's going to be 2022.
When do you anticipate 2023 models being made?
September, October.
Okay.
Sometime September, October. Don't know yet.
What changes were planned for 2023?
Most of the changes, there will be changes. Most of the changes are related to the fact that we are outsourcing.
So it's the powertrain parts you already talked about?
Powertrain is part that we talked, yes. Crankcase first and foremost.
So do you anticipate there being any quality control issues with the production having moved? Do you see any chances to improve quality control?
I would say that since we do anticipate problems, we'll try to do everything we could to avoid those problems. And one of the major steps in this direction is that our production manager in your location in Kazakhstan is going to be the person who was the head of quality department at the factory in Irbit, who was responsible for final quality control and incoming control, all kinds of things. So basically, the person who was the head of quality department of the factory is becoming production manager. And one of the main reasons is that we all understand that it has to be done in the proper way, and bikes coming from assembly line in Kazakhstan should be, ideally, they should be better than we have been doing in Irbit.
So there's a new position for him?
Yes.
But it'll elevate his ability to have more
control
over them.
Yes.
So with everything that you've talked about and the investments in outsourcing and everything else, what do you anticipate that's going to do to the price of the motorcycle?
It's going to drive it up.
Do you have any idea what we're looking at yet?
Not yet. But everything is getting more expensive. It will have to be reflected in the price, especially when it related to logistics. Another problem is that there are some funny things which are going on with ruble. For some reason, getting stronger and stronger against dollar, which is not good for us. We have not completed all our data gathering and calculations, so I just the bikes will get more expensive.
July is when you hope to have the first container shipped?
Very end of July or very beginning of August.
What port is it coming out of?
Most likely we will still be shipping through Germany.
Through Bremerhaven?
Yes.
Do you anticipate a delay in that transit time as well? From coast to coast?
The fastest we've been able to ship bikes from Irbit to New York was 4 weeks. End of last year, beginning of this year, and 4 weeks turned into 7-8 weeks because of the delays in ports and everywhere. It looks like it got a little bit better. I don't anticipate it would get worse than 8 weeks, and I really hope it will get better than 8 weeks, but probably not as good as it used to be. So somewhere in between. One
more question, we'll wrap this up for this time. Your outlook from 7 weeks ago to today, right? Do you feel a little bit more upbeat? Do you feel a little bit more positive sitting here today versus 7 weeks ago?
I definitely feel better than late February, that's for sure, when we totally didn't know what's going to happen. Yes, but at the same time, I know that it's not going to be smooth in the next. It never been very smooth for us, as you know. Look, when we send money and they receive it,
It was like
I was like, it's gonna work. We'll see.
okay.
But overall, like, yes, I feel a little bit more upbeat. Yes.
Okay, good, good. So, get some rest. Drink more coffee.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.